Good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News. I'm Veronica Corningstone.
And I'm Con Burgundy.
Tonight's top story, a retrospective analysis using data from the Prasad Eye Institute in India has shown a relationship between extended contact lens wear and adverse ocular effects. Over 300 participants wore HEMA-based 6-day extended wear contact lenses for up to 3.5 years. The participants' ocular surfaces, as well as the contact lenses themselves, were examined periodically for contaminants.
The study found that extended eyewear contacts predisposed the participants to many eye-related conditions, when compared to the control group, of course. The odds for developing contact lens-associated red eye, or glare, was 5.2, and was strongly associated with gram-negative bacteria. The odds of developing contact lens peripheral ulcers was 3.7 and strongly associated with gram-positive bacteria. There were no incidences of microbial keratitis in the study. The investigators found that the largest source of bacteria for all adverse events was improper handling of lenses before insertion.
So a word to the wise, always wash your hands.
Next in the news, sports. We'll bring it over to Champ. Champ?
Good evening. Our top story in sports today is the injury to New York Knicks point guard Jeremy Lin in last night's loss to the Miami Heat. Lin was poked in the eye during last night's game by LeBron James as he was going for a game-tying layup. Team doctors are saying Lin has suffered something known as a corneal abrasion, which is a very painful scratch of his cornea that can possibly affect his vision. We are told that Lin has been released from the hospital and is currently wearing a bandaged contact lens over his eye. Traditionally, the management of corneal abrasions consists of topical mydriatics, antibiotics, and pads. The healing period may last for several days and is associated with continuing pain and further visual disability from the treatment. Recent studies suggest that the primary treatment of traumatic corneal abrasions with soft contact lenses has an apparent advantage over the traditional treatment in terms of reduced pain during healing and a speedier healing process. With the bandaged contact lens, Jeremy Lin will have the advantage of faster rehabilitation. He's expected to only miss one game versus being sidelined for 2 weeks with traditional treatment. The recent loss to the Miami Heat is the 10th consecutive loss suffered by the New York Knicks, which has prompted them to trade Jeremy Lin to the Houston Rockets. I guess the good news in all this, Linsanity, is that New Yorkers can finally stop pretending that they know anything about basketball. And finally, in women's sports today, the WNBA has announced that, excuse me, I'm getting something here. Nobody gives a. Back to you, Con and Blondie.
Thank you, Champ, for that intriguing segment. Next up, our Asian correspondent, Trisha Takanawa, is in the field with the top researcher in the contact lens field. Trisha?
Today we have Dr. Portobello here to talk about a contact lens study and how it affects eye diseases. Thank you so much for stopping by. Where do you come from?
No problem, and I just came in from Long Island this morning. Go Yanks!
So what does your study say?
Well, a plethora of studies have been done on contact lenses, and you should just not sleep in your lenses.
Why not?
Why not? Why not? Because if you're not careful, you'll develop a whopping keratitis.
What is it caused by?
Tricky little bugaboos that sneak into your eyes and wreak havoc on your cornea. But of course, people are going to be marons and sleep in their lenses anyway.
Is there anything that can be done?
Well, if you have to sleep in your lenses, use a material called silicone hydrogel. It's much better than your regular old hydrogel.
Okay, so can you quantify for me the increased risk for those sleeping in regular hydrogels versus those in silicone hydrogels?
You bet your skinny little butt I can, Tasha.
It's Trisha.
Okay, Tanya. It's 5%.
Okay, great. So what's the bottom line here?
So the bottom line here is if you have to be a schmutz and sleep in your lenses, just make sure there's silicone hydrogel.
Miso sorry, Trisha, Takanawa. But we have a breaking story in New York City. Bacterial outbreak hit the streets. Thankfully, our reporter is there in the field. Gigi Longpants.
Hi, Gigi Longpants here with our breaking news update. Bacterial keratitis is a serious ocular disease that can lead to severe visual disability. It is rare in the absence of predisposing factors. However, the widespread use of contact lenses has dramatically increased the incidence of contact lens-related keratitis. Bacterial keratitis is defined as a corneal infiltrate with an overlying epithelial defect associated with the presence of bacteria on the corneal surface. So now we're going to hit the streets and see what people know about this grave situation. So, what have you heard about the bacterial keratitis outbreak?
Well, my eye doctor said that I have a bacterial keratitis, and she said that it's probably caused by a coagulase-negative staphylococcus, which is like the predominant cause of most bacterial keratitis. And she said that it's probably due to the fact that I always sleep in my lenses, and I also haven't changed my contact lens case in about 6 years, and I don't see my contacts.
Oh, okay. Thank you for sharing that with us.
No problem.
Excuse me, so what have you heard about the bacterial keratitis outbreak in New York City?
Well, dearie, I actually have the latest studies in my hands here, and I've found that the incidence of bacterial keratitis is 4.2 per 10,000 people. And the absolute risk in overnight hydrogel contact lenses is 19.5 with a confidence interval of 14.6 to 29.5. But in silicone hydrogels, it is 25.4 with a confidence interval of 21.2 to 31.5. Sorry, I was a smoker. But the studies have found that there's no statistically significant difference in the incidence of bacterial keratitis based on material type.
Great, thank you for that. So what we know now is that there are some predisposing ocular conditions that can lead to bacterial keratitis, including contact lens wear, ocular surface disease, corneal trauma, or corneal surgery. Contact lens wear, whether soft lenses or RGPs, has been established as the most common risk factor, as it was associated with over 50% of the bacterial keratitis cases we've seen so far. The incidence of permanent vision loss of at least 2 lines of visual acuity is 0.6 per 10,000, or 13.9% of cases. That's the information we have so far. Stay tuned to Eyewitness News as we continue to update you throughout the day. I'm Gigi Longpants, back to you in the studio.
So, Veronica, what are you doing this weekend?
For the 37th time, I'm not going on a date with you.
Got that condo in the Poconos.
Great story, Gigi. Now on to weather, okay? Weather, Vlad.
Hello, my name is Vlad, and I give you weather for greatest city in the world, New York. It's going to be beautiful summer in New York, very, very sunny, not like at home in Soviet Russia. It's very dark and cold. But sun's rays can be harmful to your eyes if you don't protect them. What damage, you might ask? I tell you, Vladimir tell you. UV rays can cause cataract in eye, pterygia among the white part of the eye, and damage to retina. It's very bad. Contact lens can be made to block UV rays. And ANSI standards demand 90% UVA ray blockage, 99% UVB ray blockage for class 1, slightly less for class 2. Sunglass can also help block the rays, but light can still enter from above and to the side of lenses. If you're a fair-skinned person, you should think to bring, yes, this, to block the rest of the rays. So remember this summer, wear protection, Nostrovia. And now a word from our commercial sponsors.
You know, we're good together. But I found something new and exciting. And it satisfies me in a way I never thought possible.
Introducing Herbal Essences Fruit Fusions with an exhilarating new fruit fragrance.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yes.
New Fruit Fusions, a totally organic experience with a fragrant twist.
He wouldn't be afraid to show his feminine side, if he had one. His mother has a tattoo that reads, Son. At museums, he's allowed to touch the art. He is the most interesting man in the world.
I don't always wear contacts, but when I do, I prefer Oasis. Stay moist, my friends.
Well, that's it for tonight's news.
Stay classy, SUNY.
And thanks for stopping by.
See you later, SUNY Optometry.
Thanks for stopping by.
Catch you on the flip side.
Good night, SUNY.
Sayonara.
Good night.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Ciao.
See ya.
Justin, tell me how good I look.
That was mental today.
Good thing I don't have to look at you, honestly. I would lose it. Next up, our field reporter, Asian correspondent Tricka.
Start over.
Ah! Okay, hold on. I need to let my cheeks hang from laughing.
Suffered something known as a corneal abrasion. My mustache.
Perspective analysis using data from the Prasad Eye Institute in India.
Sorry to interrupt, Trisha, but we have a late-breaking story. Bacterial outbreak in New York City, but thankfully, our...
Did you get my yellow pants in this?
No, that's out of a shot.
Ronald McDonald.
Ah, nice.
Block for the rays, but light will still enter glasses.
That was a...
Oh! Ah! Oh! Ah! Oh, yeah, baby!
Bacterial outbreak in New York City, but thankfully, our correspondent's in the field. Gigi Longpants. Correspondent is there. Gigi.
Good. Damn it. Gigi.
Gigi, our hands-on correspondent.
I like it.
I don't have to say any accents either.
I'm ready.
They're just gonna change my voice. I'm just gonna look ridiculous.
I doesn't look that ridiculous.
Oh, I'm not gonna wear this.
Why is there an extra hand?
How you say, oh yes, this.
Okay, you're really good at coming up with things on the spot, so. Our weatherman.
Rick Astley.
No.
Never gonna give you up. So Veronica,
Yeah.
this mustache isn't the only thing I trim.
Too much. That's crossed the line.
It's crossed the line.
Call me when your boobs come in. Call me when your boobs come in. And
Hello, my name is...
Bacterial keratitis outbreak.
Siri, you're gonna have to speak up.
What have you heard so far?
What are you saying?
The bacterial keratitis? Haven't you heard?
I actually know nothing about that. Don't clean my lenses and then... I can't see it.
So Veronica, I got 2 tickets to that gun show this weekend. Play some jazz flute. What do you say?
If somebody actually said that.
So Veronica, which shoulder does your parrot sit on? This one or this one?
Oh my god.
So Veronica, which shoulder does your parrot sit on? This one?
No, you have to point
You
it
did
out.
on her.
This one.
Oh.
More of this.
Got it. Got it.
We're all just hanging out in Jawad's bathroom in here.
Watching him naked.
I'm sexy and I know it. We're going.
Wasn't there yet. Okay, go.
And that's a wrap, baby.
Ew.